Oh, even no. I guess let's try this all over again. This has become really freaking stupid right now. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna try this all over again because for some fucking reason, I tried to take this over to. That's a little too loud. I tried to take this over to a Firefox, but everything was just completely unbelievable over there. I couldn't get anything going. I couldn't go live at all on Mozilla Firefox. So I'm going to try this all over again. I'm guessing I have to keep doing this as part three, part four, whatever now, as parts if this internet keeps shitting out on me. But I'm in the middle of at least trying to show the rest of my what I've gotten recently. Because again, this is what I've still got left. Because first off, I showed again the deluxe edition for Forset of UFO, and then of course the recent reissue of Metal Inquisition by Piledriver on Shadow Kingdom. And right then, I was beginning to talk about these two, which were actually were birthday gifts, which were from the Belgium hard rock heavy metal band White Heat. The internet just freaking crapped out, and I was in the middle of going to this one right here. But I guess I can kind of try and go into this again. So again, this is these were all released back in 2021, slightly remastered, but contains bonus tracks, which are basically re-recordings of four songs off the album, and they are at least recorded by one of, I guess, right now the newest lineup of White Heat. Again, reforming what just last year to kind of do these recordings and everything. But again, right here, again, it's all part of the Cathargo Records Heavy Metal Classic series. Again, but I've got the flip over cover of it because it's in full size. Again, same thing for Running for Life, which is actually the third album because this is basically the first and third album. I don't have Krakatoa. That's the second album, and there is, and Cathargo did do that one as well. But here we go again. It's the same situation with this one. Even the write up and the biography is pretty much the same as well inside the booklet. But again, the only difference is that this one also comes with itself. It's a certificate. But I'm just these are really cool. I'm gonna have to. Soon, I will actually be doing an album of the week episode on this one. Aside to schedule this one for an album of the week episode again on their subtitle album by these guys. For other information, I mostly knew about them because of them being on the Mausoleum Records label, which again featured like Killer and Crossfire and Cuddy Sark and all those kind of bands. But they were on there, and Mad Axe, man. There's a few others, that were on that Mausoleum label, Hazard, whatnot. But they were also on Lark, which would have been the same label that even Killer was on for there as well. Even Lark was also known for even releasing, I guess, one of the pressings of Balls to the Wall by Accept. And we'll get to Accept here real quick as well. But again, real great, real cool stuff. Again, this one, just to kind of go through, this one's a little bit more straight up kind of very European hard rock heavy metal, almost in the same sort of style of like AC/DC, Rose Tattoo, Baron Rojo, and this, and of course Killer as well, in that sort of same style. But this one kind of goes in the same one. This one's a little more kind of slightly commercial sounding compared to this to the debut here, but it's still fun. It's still a fun album. Still has plenty of those kind of, plays around with those kind of AC/DC or Crocus style riff compositions. Alessandro Montega. Real nice for you to show up. But yeah, just going into these again. These were all birthday gifts here. But these were all very, very cool stuff, though. Again, just Belgium hard rock, heavy metal. So, and this one I kind of have playing in the background. I was even playing a bit of this one in the background of the other two videos before the internet was shitting me out. But yeah, I guess it's just the stuff you have to take, you know, in order to kind of go through this live streaming process. But very cool nonetheless. I'm definitely going to go into more detail about white heat and everything whenever I do that Amber Week episode, which would be for like in 2 weeks. But there we go. Again, on the Cathargo, released last year. Real nice to have them. All right, so finally, the last of the birthday gifts. And since I just spoke about Accept, this was a birthday gift. I only had this one on record, which is, again, I've got an original, brain pressing of this one, but it's Restless and Wild from Accept. I just didn't have a actual CD copy of this one. Again, all I've had is for years is an original brain pressing, which had the Burning Twin guitars that are on fire. They have that cover. And I just wanted a copy also that had the more American cover of this one with the live shot that ended up being used for even that, I guess, 2-on-1 comp that I've had for years with Restless and Wild and Balls to the Wall. I just wanted an actual CD copy of this one. Just one of my absolute favorite metal records in general, and probably my absolute favorite from Accept. But real great. Again, the epic portrait meat remaster, I guess, reissue from 1995. Just real nice to finally have. Just a classic album altogether, and I think all of you know that anyway. So there you go. Moving on. Along the same time that I got that Pile Driver disc, the Metal Inquisition, I finally ended up coming across a copy of one of my most sought-out Aerosmith albums, that being Draw the Line, which, of all the Aerosmith albums of the 70s, or that whole classic period, this was the hardest one to find. I could never, especially down here in Fresno, I could never find a copy of Draw the Line. I know it'd be easier to try and get online, but no, this was a lot more difficult to find out in the wild, especially the CD copy, for a very long time. Hell, I don't think I've ever seen this one on record. It's the hardest to find album from these guys for me, and it just eluded me. I finally, ended up finding, a copy of like A Rockin' Hard Place and Night in the Ruts, which were also kind of very scarce to find here and there. I mean, if you ever find any sort of Aerosmith albums, it would be usually it's going to be Rocks, Get Your Wings, or even Toys in the Attic. Hell, sometimes even Done with Mirrors and Permanent Vacations and the more later albums. Those are going to be the easier ones to find, but usually it's going to be tough to find. At least sounds like Night in the Ruts, Rockin' Hard Place, and of course Draw the Line. The blackout period, I guess you could say, for Aerosmith, the blackout. And yes, finally, I just hope that the internet shits itself and freezes everything, and I'll have to then go back to square one and do part 4 of this motherfucker. I can't believe that I just get a lot of internet issues just streaming for some reason. It's my first time, and things are just absolutely bonkers. But I guess it's not an easy piece of cake to do, I guess. But yeah, I just could never find a copy of this one until finally, and it was around $3, which is normally I would expect used but in fine condition. Only difference is I had to replace the CD case because of this had to have been a promo copy or some sort of maybe Hastings or something, because they did a hole punch. And if I can show you, I don't know where I put that case now at, but they even inside drilled a hole where it was seen right there. They drilled it even into the freaking case, and I didn't like looking at it. I hate looking at it, so I had to kind of replace one of my burned CDR cases that I used for some of my, I guess some that are placeholders. For an example, I got a placeholder case if I have to use it in case of an emergency. Is this for high voltage from AC/DC, which is basically just a burned copy of it because of there's no way I'd be able to afford an actual CD copy of the Australian version of High Voltage. It's going to cost me almost an arm and a leg unless I actually win at least big bucks to actually get a copy of it. But that's what I'll have to use in case of if I ever come across another copy of an album like this that all of a sudden has like a drill hole in the fucking jewel case and shit. And so I would have to basically go in and to hear everything that I have in my freaking CDs and just find some sort of case that will be doable. So I had to do that with Draw the Line here. But either way, it plays fine, and I'm just happy to finally have a copy of Draw the Line. At some point, when I go back up to my parents' house up in Susanville, I'm going to get the rest of my Aerosmith discs so I can finally unite this with the rest of those collection. Because it was the only one that I was really missing of that class period. Because all I had for, again, the first album, Get Your Wings, Toys in the Attic, Rocks, and then Night in the Ruts and A Rockin' Hard Place was all I've had. But I just could never find Draw the Line until very recently, and I'm happy. It's a good album, though. It is definitely a fun album to listen to, but at the same time, you can definitely tell that the band members were all getting coked up and were not on the same page. You can tell it's definitely it jumbles around here and there in styles, and you can tell it's everyone probably you can tell they were fighting everything just to try and get something. I guess that they wanted in there. So it kind of the music and everything on the record pretty much mirrors that whole process of what they were at that point in time. But it's a pretty fun record though, from beginning to end, and it doesn't sound like it's trying to copy like Rocks or at times maybe Toys in the Attic. It's not trying to copy that. But which I kind of like. It ends up kind of mirroring what would be done with Night in the Ruts in a way. I would say Rockin' Hard Place kind of plays around with the kind of sound that's more similar to like Rocks and Toys in the Attic than like this one. But that's just personally what I get from when I was listening to Draw the Line. But I still think it's a very fun record to begin with. So just finally glad to have a copy. All right, and of course on the same day, because I came out with 3 discs on that day when on my run to like Rasputin, finally added in one of my favorite Robin Trower albums onto here. That's of course Bridge of Sighs. Finally was able to get a copy of this one because of somewhere on the line. I think my dad, who's one again was the main reason for turning me on to Robin Trower at a really young age. He might have had this, I believe, on cassette. But I just, again, the songs were on like a compilation disc, anyways, being like Bridge of Sighs and To Rolling Stone and Lady Love. But just one of my favorite British guitar players, and this is one of his finest albums. I'll say this one and. For Earth Below. These are the 2 albums I think are neck and neck when it comes to my favorite albums from Robin Trower. Just my absolute favorites. They're like neck and neck. I just love those. I think I might at times swing more towards For Earth Below than like Bridge of Sighs, but this is still a very good record. I still love it. It's really good, also relaxing kind of album. It's not, he does kind of play on very heavy kind of riffs, but it's more of the blues kind of tenure. It's more in that direction, but it still has a real nice kind of relaxing feel to it where I can just sit down, especially very late at night, and if I want to throw on something that will just be great calming, but still good enough in my sort of rock and kind of wheelhouse, it just puts me in a great mood, and I'm just oh shit. Oh, there we go. I guess I just did I come back? Am I in? Type in a number 1 in the comment section if you can see me. If everything's moving, if I'm not frozen. Just give me a number 1 if I'm not frozen. If I am frozen, give me at least a number 2. Here we go. Let me type this in. When we're back. Good. Okay. At least you got that. I'm glad. At least that worked. Okay. I guess I can kind of move on here. I'm glad because I've just got 3 more CDs to go through here. So I hope that the internet doesn't shit out or shit me again, you know. I want to do another part 4. I just want to get this shit done so I can put these all up and rearrange my CD collection and everything. All right. But again, I'm just in the middle again, ending out this. Again, it's the 1999 remaster. Yeah, fingers crossed here. And this is a good internet connection, but who knows? It could also be YouTube that's also fucking up right now because of what? Before going into what for number 3 here for the 3rd round, YouTube was giving me trouble with signing in and everything on to like Mozilla and then on the Google Chrome. I was trying going back and forth and I was getting issues. And on Mozilla Firefox, I was having issues going live. It just was staying on go live. And it was like, oh no. So what the fuck's going on? I guess YouTube live streaming is just super user unfriendly on Mozilla Firefox. So that's why I'm sticking with Google Chrome here. It's at least more easier. Unbelievable. But shit happens. There we go again. Just going along again. Features live tracks that are from like live recording. I guess at the record plant. Funny enough, recorded at the record plant in Los Angeles, the same place that UFO recorded that whole live set on the Forset album. The whole live set, which had been this a year later. Just crazy. Must have been a really popular place for a lot of these kind of, I guess, Christmas records. Some of these bands that out of Britain that were just going at. Must have been a real popular place in Los Angeles prior to even air like via radio broadcast. Like I guess something like oh shit, I'm losing the name already. God damn, I already kind of lost the name of it. The King Biscuit Flower Hour. I'm not commenting. Prevent freezing. Well, I don't think the commenting is doing it. I think something within the house is either doing it or it's YouTube that's just having an issue reconnecting itself whenever the internet takes its shit, So there must be issues on YouTube in the moment, too. Again, when is there not a problem with YouTube and their buggy, mechanics or something? What isn't an issue with YouTube? They always shit every single time. It's unbelievable. But again, I guess Google doesn't want to do anything about it. They want to, force everyone to go by their rules and stuff. Then actually take it and it's a real good issue in fixing their platform and making it more user friendly instead of user unfriendly. Bastards. But yeah, there we go. All right. I got one last 3. The next scene I'm going to rant. Yep. I know. I always find a way to go into a rant, especially whatever, because it's so. I always find so many issues with some of these things that it really, the minute I go into that sort of, that kind of mood, I just can't help myself from commenting it. Yep. Yeah. It's just unbelievable. All right, let's finally end this out so I don't run into an issue with the internet. I want everything to be fucking stable. All right. This one, again, I picked up this CD at the same time that I got the UFO, and I've just been getting into this guy a lot more recently because it's been years. My parents would play this guy's music in the car for a very long time, but it is his debut full-length album from 1977. This is not metal at all. It's definitely more straight-up blues, but it's George Thorogood and the Destroyers. I used to be so much into this guy when I was a lot more younger, but over the years, getting a lot more harder and heavier stuff. I just didn't care to kind of go really back to my roots and everything. But I think over the years, I always kind of somehow this guy would creep back into an air. And earlier this year, back in January, I picked up at least what Maverick. This is his hardest to find album. You can't find this one very easily out in the wild. But I came across a really good used copy of his very first record. And this one is definitely, by the time I think he got real popular, he started adding in some more like saxophone and everything. He started really kind of getting more and more commercial sounding. Even though it was still fine, it's just that this one, this is a lot, it's more just three guys, and it sounds a lot more primitive the way I think I want to hear this kind of blues and that sort of state. I want to hear it where it's more raw, more where it's like less studio trickery, where it's more just more natural. And that's what this comes across as. It's finally just a lot more natural sounding album, and I just dig it. Even at times a slight heaviness here and there kind of creeps in, even though it's mostly covers. He does a really good job on making them at least good enough. At least for 1977 standards, this was probably modern take on at least old blues classics. To me, this is all the roots of rock and roll anyways. It's the roots for hard rock. It's the roots for all of that. They all at least took inspiration from this type of style anyways. I mean, just the song You Got to Lose is where I think even AC/DC and Motorhead at least got a lot of that real good inspiration from. It's that kind of same style in a way. It's just that it's a lot more in that sort of primitive state here that you would have at least sort of heard back in the 50s to at least the 60s. That kind of thing going on. But so it's probably real retro for the late 70s, but it's just a real nice, fun listen, and I do enjoy listening to this from here and there. So I dig this. I've always dug this kind of stuff. So again, you have to at least have something else to like other than just the regular kind of heavy kind of stuff. I have to always kind of branch out a bit, and this stuff is still at least close to my wheelhouse, and I always dig this to begin with. There you go. Yeah, it's an original 1987 CD pressing. Some sites state that the time length is usually 45 minutes, but this original CD pressing clocks at least around 47 minutes, so it's a lot more longer than usual. But I have no problem with that. It's an original mix because later on this would end up getting slightly remixed, but it would go back to what they originally intended. But still, the fact that it's an original mix, I think is fine enough, having both different copies of it. But just finally glad I at least have a copy of his really early stuff. All right, these next two is finally adding this guy's stuff in my collection, and that is the late Gary Moore for Corridors of Power and Victims of the Future. Just all I've heard of Gary Moore was at least on either that Rocket Cotton Steel compilation record, and of course what he did with Thin Lizzy. But ever since I heard those two songs, like End of the World off of this one, and was it Murders in the Sky or Murder in the Sky off of this one, these were the only two that I was familiar with as far as actual solo stuff from Gary Moore. I just fell in love. They were definitely heavy, but they just had a nice sort of feel to them, and I dug it. It's like shit. I've seen some people have said that I guess when it came to Gary Moore, it would at times stayed more closer to Thin Lizzy, but I don't get a lot of Thin Lizzy-esque stuff from his stuff on here, especially this one. And of course, I wish, hopefully, it gets put back in print, Dirty Fingers, because there's less Thin Lizzy on some of those. I could tell that a lot of the metal guitar players obviously took a lot of love with this guy, even at times, maybe even Yngwie here and there, because he just was a absolute shredder on these records. I would say musically, at times, I tend to really lean more towards this one, just because it's a little more hard. It's just a little more less uh, ballady in some cases, even though these are still really good done ballads anyways. But yeah, these are definitely two classics, and I can't believe it took me this long to get two of his records in the collection. Just add any Gary Moore, because he just was a fantastic guitar player. And I wish he was still alive today, and would be great to see him, because of I think he belongs in that sort of same list as like Michael Schenker and Richie Blackmore and some of the great guitar players of that time period. He was real freaking great as a guitar player. And some great rocking songs on, I would say, on Corridors of Power. Again, I love Don't Take Me for a Fool. I like End of the World, of course, Rocking Every Night, Cold Hearted. Great songs there, but this one also has some great smokers as well. Especially Devil in Her Heart. What a fantastic hard rocker of a track. Just so many, what a great guitar player he was. I'm just mesmerized by how great he was. I think really cool thing too about these two albums right here is that there's a really great all-star lineup of a band that he has. I mean, on these two, Ian Pace was a part of here. Neil Murray of Whitesnake, Mo Foster, even Jack Bruce performing half vocals on the song "End of the World." What a all-star lineup! But my God, are these definitely two great albums? I just love these two. Just great stuff from beginning to end. So yeah, just real great to have. I know I'm actually even have this one more thing. I am actually going to do this as a Am of the Week episode. Since this was released in 1982, its anniversary is coming up in a month or so, and I can't wait to go into more in depth of this album right here. I can't wait to. But I'm just really enjoying these two from Gary Moore. I'm just enjoying these two. But that's it. That's it for now. I'm glad the internet didn't crap out right here. I'm glad everything is a lot more stable. I was able to go into at least 27 minutes here. Again, these three parts are going to be up in the comment section, and or at least whatever though. I mean on YouTube. So everyone will have to probably. I'll find a way to probably tacking these two into both of the videos, so I can be able to give everyone a way to see the rest of what I've got, what's been added. And I just wanted to do this as a live stream, so I can be able to just do this and have more time to talk about them, because it takes up too much room on the phone, and it will take up too much battery space. Most of these, it'll take up a lot of battery space, and especially on the computer. And I don't want to go through all of that since I have so much to show. If it was a more smaller collection, maybe I would do this as a real recording on the phone. But since I had at least quite a bit to show there, and I wanted to kind of give some time to talk about some of these and go into a little bit of depth, I needed at least plenty of time to do about this. And I think live streaming just felt a lot more right. It felt natural. So there we go. And I'm beginning to get a hang, I guess, in a way. I'll get the hang of this live streaming thing here. Sometimes I have to try this maybe later in the day on one of these days, or something later. Maybe I have to really find the right kind of day. Yeah, this was a very cool update, and I'm glad you enjoyed that. Glad you enjoyed it, and I hope everyone else also enjoys this after this ends and everything. So I'm going to end things right now. So, and I hope all of you are going to be looking forward to next week when it comes to my stuff. I've got my newest Am of the Week episode is going to be on Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest. I'm going to be doing a review on this one as well, since I didn't show it, but I wanted to really kind of give more time to talk about it in its own video. But the newest from these guys, since I caught them live with Anvil most recently, which I did even a video where I showed some footage. And I'm still going to throw in some footage as well, because I still have more of Midnight Hellion. But this is, can't wait to go into depth of this album. So yeah, Great. And yes, in a way, that album did find its way into the collection update because it is still a very brand new release, still brand new to my collection here. So there we go. Uh, I guess got plenty. I've got plenty of stuff I want to do. There's still plenty of stuff I want to go through. Wow, I can't believe I made it to 30 minutes without the internet completely going to shit here. I'm absolutely super happy with that. So I don't want to push any further. I'm just going to end right here. So with that, I hope all of you enjoyed. This is Heavy Thrash saying I'm out. I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.